12 years. Janet and I had been a unit for 12 years, a fixture since we were practically kids, fooling around since we were 10. College never called to me. The real world, a paycheck, that was my speed. Desmond Engineering took me on as a draftsman right out of high school. A year later, Janet and I made it official, and the year after that, twin girls, Bethany and Brittany, turned our duo into a family. Those first few years were lean, no doubt. We pinched pennies so hard they squealed, but we made it work. I climbed a few rungs at Desmond, still a draftsman, but the money was a little better. Still tight, but manageable. We scraped enough together for a small house, 2 decent cars in the driveway, nothing fancy, but they ran. Janet always fancied herself a housewife, never held a job after we married. Fine by me. We weren't exactly rolling in it, but we weren't starving either. We were healthy. Janet, a little more solid than when we first tied the knot, but still a compact woman, just over 5 feet. Dark brown hair, bangs. Poor man's Marie Osmond, if you squinted. Me? I hadn't changed much. Played right tackle in high school. I was built solid, not fat. Billy Martin blew into town from Lancaster about a year back. Landed a surveyor job at Desmond. We'd played football against each other in high school, so we clicked. He was married to his high school girl, too, Sarah, a redhead. Janet and Sarah hit it off instantly, became inseparable. They didn't have kids yet, which made them prime babysitting material when Janet and I actually managed a night out. Billy and I, we'd grab beers, shoot the bull. Good to get away from the wives sometimes. Janet and Sarah did their own thing, shopping, some club meetings, whatever kept them busy. Sarah even picked up a secretary gig at Gilbert Engineering, just outside the city. Things started feeling off about 6 months ago. Little things like the PTA meetings used to be once a month. Suddenly they were weekly. Sarah, no kids of her own, but she was always there with Janet. Tupperware parties, Magic Chef demonstrations, the invites piled up, but they never seemed to buy a damn thing. Joined a book club, but I never saw either of them crack a book. Weekends, hours, shopping, but they'd come home with next to nothing, except Janet's lingerie drawer. That thing was blooming with silky, lacy numbers I never got the benefit of. It started to gnaw at me, a persistent itch I couldn't scratch. I kept my mouth shut around Billy. He seemed oblivious, and I wasn't about to stir up trouble if there was nothing to find. But the doubt was a seed, and it was taking root. Tonight, it flowered. Janet waltzed in around 10, an hour after I'd put the girls to bed, smelling faintly of something artificial and floral. Some basket party, she'd said. She'd showered before Sarah picked her up, and now she was heading straight for another one. Strange. While the water ran, I made a quick detour to her discarded basket. Tucked inside, a set of black lace lingerie. Who the hell wears black lace to a damn basket party? I'm not usually one to inspect my wife's underwear, but tonight, instinct, or maybe just a cold certainty, took over. I fished the panties out of the hamper. Wet, sticky, a knot tightened in my gut. I slipped them into my pocket. I'd never gone through her purse, not once in 12 years. Tonight was a night for firsts. Her cell phone was the prize. She was sloppy, confident I wouldn't snoop. Not a single call deleted from the past week. Most were to Sarah, naturally. But then there were others. KC, KH, KW. My mind clicked. C for cell, H for home, W for work. Sarah's entry in Janet's address book confirmed it. Sarah C, Sarah H, Sarah W, my wife, the meticulous organizer of her betrayals. I noted Sarah's work number, the extension. Then KW's number, same base, different extension, Gilbert Engineering. Sarah was the connection, the facilitator. The office was closed now, dark. I used Janet's phone, dialed KW. You've reached Ken Sanders' desk. I'm not available right now, but if you leave your name and number. I hung up before the beep. Ken Sanders. Too easy. A cold satisfaction settled in. John? You coming to bed? Janet's voice, muffled from the bedroom. Almost done with this book? I called back, my voice even, betraying nothing. Be up when I finish unless I conk out on the sofa. The sofa was exactly where I intended to spend the night. Sleep was a joke. My mind raced, not with what did I do wrong. That was a fool's game. No. My thoughts circled, what do I do now? I wasn't taking an ounce of blame for this. The clock hands seemed glued in place. The clatter of my little angels making breakfast woke me. Janet's idea? Teaching them self-sufficiency. Good, in theory. I was stretching, a grimace fixed on my face, when she walked in. You better hurry, John, or you'll be late for work. Not going in today, I said, my voice flat. Why not? You never miss work. Personal problems, I yawned, a deliberate show of nonchalance, and headed for the shower. Let her wonder. Let her sweat. When I came back, coffee brewed, girls gone to school, she was at the table, looking at me with a hesitant, questioning gaze. She knew something was wrong. Good. Tell me about your novel, I said, taking a seat opposite her, my voice devoid of warmth. I wasn't interested in beating around the bush. She forced a laugh. Be serious, John. Is that why you're moping? You really think I'm cheating on you? Yes, I stated, my eyes locking onto hers. Now, tell me about your novel. We've been married 12 years, John. Why would you even think such a thing? Her voice rose, a little too shrill. Janet, I have things to do today. I'm not playing these games. One last time, tell me about your novel. She let out an exasperated sigh, leaned forward. John, it's all in your head. There is no romance. A cold smile touched my lips. I'd like to thank you for your honesty, but I can't. Not right now. She leaned back, sipped her coffee, a flicker of false confidence in her eyes. Can you answer a few simple questions for me? Questions. Yes, John, of course. What? Why? I began, my voice low and even. Do you go to PTA meetings every week when the PTA secretary says they only meet monthly and you haven't attended one in 6 months? A slight pause. I don't understand what you're saying. Her composure was cracking. You and Sarah, non-existent PTA meetings every Tuesday. Why lie about something so trivial, Janet? She stalled, then, I'm truly sorry, John. It's ladies' night at Rosie's Cantina on Tuesdays, 2-for-1 margaritas. We didn't want you and Billy thinking we were messing around. It was a mistake. I'm sorry. From now on, we'll tell you. Nice try, I sneered. Of course, you know I'll check that. Sarah will back you up, I'm sure, but the staff at Rosie's? Her face tightened. And these Tupperware parties, these things you go to. Why the shower before you leave? And another one the second you get home. A lot of women smoke at those parties, John. I want the smell out of my hair. It's not a big deal. She was grasping. And the fancy underwear? You wear it for these housewives. But never for me. Unless it's some special occasion. Why? I don't have a good answer. I just want to feel dressed up sometimes when I go out. Her lies were becoming an insult. Time to end this charade. My anger, cold and controlled until now, began to simmer. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the black lace panties, and threw them on the table between us. These are the panties you wore last night. The crotch was wet, sticky. I know what goddamn semen is, Janet, and I know it's not mine. Don't you dare try to tell me it's a yeast infection, or I swear to God I will lose it. She recoiled, squirming, eyes darting anywhere but at me. No quick answer this time. Damn it, Janet! Why did you come home with cum-stained panties last night? I want an answer now! Stop it, John. Just stop. I can't take it, she shrieked, tears starting. 12 years! How can you treat me like this? Her audacity, the sheer gall of her denial, finally snapped something in me. With a roar, I hurled my half-full coffee cup. It smashed against the microwave, the sound echoing in the sudden silence. Her eyes widened in genuine fear. She'd never seen me truly angry. Good. I leaned across the table, my voice a low growl. Who the hell is Ken Sanders? She scrambled back from the chair, retreating towards the sink. Last time, Janet. Who is Ken Sanders? A friend, she whispered, terrified. Just a friend. Did you have closeness with him? My voice was ice. Yes, I had, she sobbed. Did you sleep with him last night? Yes. Oh God, yes, I did. Stop it, John. Please stop. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just stop. She collapsed against the sink, bawling. I calmly walked to the cupboard, took out a clean cup, poured myself fresh coffee. As I sat, her cell phone rang. Her eyes shot from me to the phone, terror etched on her face. That'll be Ken, I said, a grim satisfaction in my tone. We should answer. I pressed the speakerphone button. Morning, sugar. A male voice, sickeningly cheerful. Just gotta work. Saw you tried my work line last night. Forget something at home? Janet, or Sugar, looked like she was about to faint. Janet? You there? Something wrong? I nodded at her, a cold, commanding gesture. Ken, she choked out. Ken, my husband, he's here. He knows about us. You're on speaker. Silence on the other end. Then I felt a sudden urge to twist the knife. Ken, buddy, I said, my voice deceptively casual. Got a few things to take care of this morning, but I promise I'll swing by your office this afternoon. Might want to put 911 on your speed dial. I ended the call, pocketed her phone. Janet just stood there, shaking in her robe. I have to go, I said, rising. One more question. Sarah's guy. What's his name? John, no, please, don't make me. The second coffee cup shattered against the tiled wall behind the sink. She jumped, words tumbling out. Calvin! Calvin Bostic! I'll be back this afternoon, I said, my voice chillingly calm. Have all your belongings out by then. My mom will stay with the girls until we make other arrangements. Anything you can't fit in your car, I'll deal with. Let my mother know where you'll be. Don't call me. She didn't move, didn't utter another word as I walked out. The control felt good. I drove to Desmond, found Billy's station. He wasn't there, out on a site. I called his cell. Billy, don't want to alarm you, but I've got bad news. Someone hurt? Not yet, but they're going to be. A dark satisfaction curled within me. What the hell are you talking about, John? Janet and Sarah. They got themselves a couple of boyfriends, all those meetings and parties. They were getting plowed. You're sure? I don't believe you, John. Sounds like bullcrap. Ask Sarah about a guy named Calvin Bostic. Works with her at Gilbert. I think she fixed Janet up with another guy from there. Damn. You sure? God damn it, John. I know Calvin Bostic. We were in the same graduating class. What about a guy named Ken Sanders? Yeah, him too. Tall, skinny prick. My turn to deliver the blows. Billy. Janet's going to warn Sarah any second. She fed me a mountain of crap this morning before I pinned her down. Expect the same from Sarah. Billy hung up. I went to HR, requested a short leave. No way I was working. 10 minutes and my workload was transferred. Right on cue, Janet's phone, still in my pocket, rang. Caller ID. Sarah. I let it go to voicemail, then listened. Janet, what the hell is going on? Billy just called me. He's on his way to the office. I think someone told him. I couldn't resist. I called Sarah back from Janet's phone. Janet, are you there? This isn't the time to play games. Sarah's panicked voice. Hi, Sarah, it's John, I said smoothly. Had to borrow Janet's phone. Mine was dead. What's this about someone telling Billy something? My voice was laced with mock innocence. John, I'm so sorry. I thought I was calling Janet. I'll try her at home. Don't bother. She's busy packing. No time to chat. Packing? What do you mean? Packing her things. She's going back to her parents for a while, I said, enjoying the stunned silence on the other end. I could almost see the gears grinding in Sarah's head. I think you should be more worried about telling Calvin that Billy's on his way. He could probably use a head start. Oh God, no! This can't be happening, no! She hung up. The delicious chaos. We only had one credit card. Canceling it was easy. The ATM debit card PIN was changed in 5 minutes. The checking account I left for now. Bills still needed paying. I just hoped Janet hadn't taken any checkbooks. My phone rang. Billy. He'd caught Calvin Bostic in the Gilbert parking lot. Now, Billy was in a cell, wanted me to call his brother in Lancaster for bail. I made the call. Nothing more I could do for Billy right then. Taco Bell for lunch. It tasted like victory. After lunch, I visited Mom and Dad, laid it all out. Mom, bless her, was more than willing to watch the girls. She'd stay with me during the week, twins with them on weekends. Next stop, Ken Sanders. The drafting department at Gilbert Engineering was buzzing. They'd seen Billy's morning performance. It overlooked the parking lot. Billy had snatched Calvin before he reached his BMW, slammed him over a car hood, and started rearranging his face. Guards tried to pull Billy off, failed. One finally tased him. Calvin left in an ambulance, Billy left in a cruiser. One of the guys pointed out Ken Sanders' empty office. Old Ken quit abruptly. This morning. Sarah's desk was also empty, though it looked like she was still employed. 10 minutes later, I had Ken's home address. It was a small ranch, no garage. White Lexus in the driveway, trunk and back doors open. As I pulled up, Ken Sanders himself stumbled out, arms full of clothes. He saw me, dropped everything, and scrambled back inside. I stepped over his discarded belongings as I walked in, just in time to see him bolt out the back. I had to laugh. Pathetic. I wasn't Billy. I wasn't going to chase him down and beat him. Not my style. The place looked rented, furnished. Another 10 minutes and he'd have been gone. I scanned the room. His cell phone lay on the living room table, next to a folder with his passport and some papers. A neat little laptop on the dining table. Not much else. I gathered my prizes, resisted the urge to trash his car. That would be too obvious, too crude. But I couldn't resist letting the air out of one tire. Just one. He'd have to unload the trunk to get to the spare, all while looking over his shoulder for me. Message delivered. I swung by the jail. Billy's brother was there, lawyers buzzing. I just waved, smirked. He looked like he had it under control. Mom was at my house. Dinner started. We talked. I stashed Ken's things in my home office. Before I could examine them, Beth and Britt burst in from school. Hi, Dad. What's Grandma doing here? Where's Mom? Bethany, direct as always. Your mother and I decided to take a little break, I said, my voice carefully neutral. She's going to live with her parents for a while. Brittany's face lit up. Beth rolled her eyes, groaned. I win, ha, I win. Britt was gloating. What's going on? What's so funny? Brittany explained. Beth and I had a bet. I said Mom was cheating on you. She said it would never happen. Looks like I won. I never said anything about your mother cheating. We're not stupid, Dad, Beth cut in, surprisingly mature. And don't treat us like kids. We know what's going on. I just didn't want to believe it. Britt's right. Mom's cheating on you. How did they know? I just found out. You're a little slow, Dad, Britt said, patting my shoulder. A 12-year-old consoling me. The irony. Too trusting. One Saturday, Beth continued, Mom and Sarah said they were going shopping at King of Prussia. Mom wouldn't let us go. Adult shopping day, she said. Monday at school, 2 kids said they saw her with some guy at Noble's Grove. We called them liars, but one girl had a picture on her phone. Britt said she was cheating then. Why didn't you tell me? They both shrugged. A couple of weeks later, Britt added, Tracy Mercer's parents saw Sarah, Mom, and 2 guys at TGI. Fridays in Allentown. I sat there, stunned. The extent of her deception. Thank God Grandma called us for dinner. We didn't talk about it during the meal. I apologized before dessert. The twins, surprisingly, dropped it for the night. Relief. Later, I started on Ken's laptop. His phone buzzed. A text. DKS SRI 4 Snafu Love J. Dear Ken, sorry for the snafu. Love Janet. From Sarah's phone, so they were together. I couldn't resist. I texted back, TJTHX a lot, John. Now she knew I had his phone. The power. Hours sifting through Ken's files. No emails between him and Janet, but plenty between Ken and old buddies in Lancaster. Shocking stuff. Janet and I, together our whole lives, and I never really knew her. She'd gotten closer to this Ken in under a year than to me in nearly 20. As I replaced the printer cartridge, a tear surprised me. Not sadness, rage, frustration. She'd hurt me, yes, but more, she'd made a fool of me. I printed emails, a dozen photos, nothing pornographic, just damningly intimate. All suitable for mixed company, which made them even more insidious. Beth peeked in. Can I call Mom? I couldn't refuse, not really. Mom listened in, not eavesdropping, but the girls weren't exactly whispering. Later, Mom told me they gave Janet hell, blamed her for everything. The call lasted less than 5 minutes. The emails were gold. Ken, hired for an alternative energy project in Spain, starting in 6 weeks. Gilbert Engineering apparently clueless. Sarah knew, I bet. All documents ready, except his passport, which I now possessed. He could get a replacement, but he'd have to hurry, or report it stolen. I doubted he would. One letter to a friend laid out Janet's grand plan. Divorce me after joining Ken in Spain. She knew I'd never let her take the girls out of the country. So she was going to paint me as an unfit father. Severe enough to revoke my custody, my visitation. Despicable. It was Ken's letter, hearsay, but it was enough. I printed multiple copies. Mom had nodded off watching Leno. I sent her to my bedroom. Girls were asleep. I crashed on the couch, 4 empty beer bottles on the coffee table, evidence of my contemplation. Woke to coffee and bacon. Mom. Girls were finishing cereal. Girls, I said once they were ready for the bus, I'm afraid your mother will try to separate us. She plans to declare me an unfit parent to keep you. I'm fine with shared custody if it makes you happy, but I won't give up my rights. I don't want you picking sides, but you need to know. Be careful. Don't listen to lies. Dad, we're smarter than you think, Brittany smiled. Beth gave a thumbs up. Don't worry, we love Mom, but we won't let her screw you over. They left. Mom filled my cup. Relax, John, everyone's on your side. And I intended to keep it that way. Showered, shaved, dressed a little sharper than usual, 3 cell phones in my pockets. Mental note, buy Ken's charger, family services. The caseworker called. John Terrell, Jody Mitchell, goth girl from high school, pink hair, black lipstick. Now she looked normal. Jody Mitchell, I haven't seen you in over 10 years. What did you do? I stuttered a bit. You look great, Jody. She laughed. You mean compared to before? Relax, John. I normalized in college. What can I do for you? Before we start, do you have a file on me or Janet Wilcox, my wife? Her fingers flew. Nothing on you, John. Nothing on Janet Wilcox either. Sounds like you feed your kids, don't beat them. You have kids, right? Yes, 12-year-old twin girls, Bethany and Brittany. Fine. So, what's the problem? Jody, this is out there. My wife is planning to leave me, take the girls. She's going to accuse me of things. Not uncommon, John. Does she have grounds? You just checked. Nothing there. True, but how do I know you're not setting me up? She could be gathering evidence right now. So I can't win? Why do you think she'll do this? I handed her a copy of Ken's email. Got this from a computer I acquired illegally. Can't be used in court, but it shows her intent. Conspiracy? I don't know what to do. Can't afford a lawyer right now. Jody leaned back, rocked in her chair, then forward. Can you come back tomorrow morning? Yes. Fine, see you then. Can I keep this? I nodded, turned to leave. Nice seeing you, John. I smiled. She smiled back. The goth girl was gone. A new, potentially useful Jody emerged. I picked a lawyer from the phone book. Paid cash up front for a quick, clean divorce. Joint custody, minimum. Full, if he could swing it. Child support, yes. Alimony, hell no. Billy called at lunch, needed a place to stay. My place, of course. We met at Taco Bell. What's with the stupid grin? I asked. Friend at Community General. Sarah went to visit Calvin. His wife showed up with their 2 kids. Sarah had no idea he was married. Got so ugly, security escorted Sarah out. I went by Gilbert to see her. She's gone. Cleaned out her desk. His wife didn't live with him? Dunno. Don't care. Billy was taking a week off. He tried to get some clothes from his house. My cell rang again. Cameron Wilcox, Janet's father. John, can you come over? Try to sort things out. Janet's a mess. Her mother's not helping. Who'll be there? Us 3 and Janet's sister Carla. Not sure what you hope to achieve, Cameron, but I'll be there in 20. I brought my folder of goodies. Dark group. Who wants to start? I asked, declining coffee. John, Cameron began. Janet thinks you're overreacting. Says you were furious. Made her say things that weren't true to calm you down. Claims she did nothing wrong. You had no right to kick her out. My dear wife, spinning tales, shifting blame, contemptible. What do you want me to do, Cameron? Prove she's a liar or admit I made a mistake? Just want some facts, John. What did she tell you about her friend? Claims she didn't have a boyfriend. Just some drinks with Sarah's work colleagues. You misinterpreted. Cameron, she had over 80 phone calls with this random friend in the last month. How many times has she called you or her mother? They both looked at Janet. She stared at her feet. Is that a random friend she meets for drinks? Silence. I pulled out Ken's cell. Carla, read these texts. I showed her the Love J message. Read it out loud. She did. Sound like a casual friend? Janet covered her face. Cameron shook his head. A couple of weeks ago, Janet and Sarah said they were shopping at King of Prussia. Twins begged to go. Mother said no. Here are some photos from that trip. I handed 6 photos to Cameron. He passed them to Martha, then Carla. This isn't King of Prussia. Martha, Janet's mother, finally spoke, her voice trembling. It's Noble's Grove. Damn it, Janet, what is going on? In every photo, you're clinging to that man's hand like he's a life raft. That's not friends. Tears welled in Martha's eyes. Here are a few more, I said, adding to the pile. Olive Garden, Red Lobster, my loving wife featured in all of them. I think we've seen enough, John, Cameron said, his voice heavy. Sorry we called you here for this. He was clearly shaken by the deception. As I stood, Janet fled the room, sobbing. We never even got to the stained panties. No need. Cameron walked me to the door. John, I'm sorry, we can't undo what's done, but I guarantee you this won't be ignored. He shook my hand. The victory was sweet, home. Mom and Billy had set up a fold-out bed in the small office. Billy had a pile of clothes. Mail was waiting for Janet. Official envelope, passport department. I knew I shouldn't. I did. Family passport. Janet and the 2 girls. No picture of me. I remembered the girls mentioning a photo session. Of course, my passport wasn't there. I called Cameron immediately. Tell Janet her package arrived. If she wants the passport, Ken Sanders himself has to come pick it up. I'll only give it to Ken. Cameron sounded angry with his daughter. Promised to tell her. They'd asked her to find another place to live. Dinner. A woman from Family Services came to our school today, Bethany said. Jody? Yeah. She said you went to high school together. She talked about you the whole time, Britt added. Beth and I think she likes you. She talked to us for over an hour. They chattered, excited. Carla called during dinner. Wanted to talk. Met her at McDonald's. John, Janet asked me to explain, Carla began, stirring her coffee. She couldn't. This might sound stupid. If I have questions, how will you answer them? I cut her off. I don't think I can. I can just talk. You listen. Most of it sounded like gibberish anyway. You're setting me up. No answers, just excuses. You always were smart, John. Get on with it. She blamed Sarah. Sarah started cheating, made it sound exciting. Janet never had exciting. Just you, loving and reliable. When Ken Sanders started at Gilbert, Sarah convinced Janet to join them for drinks. Sarah and Calvin would disappear, leaving Janet and Ken alone. Eventually, they started too. Full affair. Couldn't stop. Ken impressed her. Stories of Spain. She wanted to go. Big problem, leaving the girls. Knew you'd never let her, so she was going to make you look like a bad father. Now, she knows it was a mistake. After talking to the girls, she realized they're closer to you. She won't try for the twins if you agree to a divorce. No conditions. That's all? Almost. Yes. Fine. Tell her to file. I won't contest it if that's the truth. Oh, John, one more thing. Janet wants her passport. Do you have it? Everything clicked. She hadn't given up. The family passport was her ace. My control was being challenged. Carla, I said, my voice dropping several degrees, my coffee's cold. I'm going home. Don't call me again. John, what the hell? How did I make you angry? You know damn well what you did. You two really think I'm that stupid? Go back to your whore sister. Tell her there's no way in hell she's getting my daughters. And since you're her little helper, you can stay the hell away from my girls, too. I walked out, leaving her sputtering into her phone. Family services before they opened. Couldn't stay away, could you? Jody, Starbucks in hand, big smile. She motioned me to sit. I talked to your daughters yesterday. I nodded, tongue-tied again. Being around women other than Janet still felt foreign. I was out of practice, and Jody's directness was disarming. Something wrong, John? No, sorry, Jody. Better leave. I'll call you later. Before you go, she said, her tone shifting to professional. I'm getting a restraining order against your wife. Can't stop her seeing the girls, but I can stop her taking them out of state or denying you access. It'll be served before noon. A slow, predatory smile spread across my face. Excellent. I left. Starbucks. The coffee was good. Control was returning. Drove around, then home. Billy said Sarah had moved back to her parents near Ephrata. He was at his place, sorting. Bank, insurance, lawyer, trying to get money from Gilbert, but no policy against fraternization. Uphill battle. He'd seen Calvin's wife at the hospital. She was trying to get Calvin to drop charges against Billy. Even thanked Billy for exposing Calvin. I sat on the porch drinking beer. Mom brought a meatloaf sandwich, sat with me. Dad would come for dinner, stay the night. Jody Mitchell pulled up. Mom went inside. Jody sat beside me, refused a beer. Served Janet's papers about an hour ago, she said. Very angry woman, staying with her sister, by the way. I finished my beer. Good. So why do I feel so off? In these cases, John, there's no good. Just less bad. I reached for another beer, paused. Could you come in, explain this to the girls? I don't want to sound like I'm blaming their mother, push them away. How about 7 tonight? I nodded. She stood, walked to her car, stopped, looked back, smiled. I smiled back. This was promising. Jody came that evening. Spent a long time with Beth and Britt. Billy and I were at his house, clearing out Sarah's things. Jody started coming over several times a week. Spent as much time with Mom as the girls. She was pointedly ignoring me. Curious. One evening, girls in bed, she sat next to me. John, she began, her voice soft. Do you have any wine? Something like that. My speaking skills, still a work in progress. What does that mean? Nothing with a cork. Screw caps only. She found that amusing. Bring me something red, and bring the bottle. It was more of a jug, but she didn't seem to mind. We drank. I think the girls get a lot from your visits, I finally managed. How long will you have to see them? Oh, the twins are fine. They don't need to see me. I've been coming to see you. I was genuinely surprised. I don't understand. You barely talk to me. Thought that's what you wanted? Not really. Just figured you had rules. Fraternizing with clients. Her quiet laugh was nice. I'm amazed you haven't asked to see my tattoos. What tattoos? She was trying to relax me. It was working. 4 of them. High school, 3 are easy. One's harder to find. You going to show me, or do I have to look? More fun if you look, but I'll need more wine for that. We both laughed. I refilled her glass. The hunt was interesting, quiet, not to wake the girls. The fourth was indeed well hidden. I admired it for a long time before she playfully pushed me away. She left before the twins woke, but I suspected they knew. I told my lawyer to finalize the divorce, serve the papers. Janet could take my terms or fight. She was still with Carla. No answer, no call. Weeks passed. Dad's health declined. Mom spent more time there. School ended. Girls moved in with Mom for the summer. By summer's end, Dad was in a nursing home. Billy and I helped Mom prep the family home for sale. Mom moved back in with me. Jody visited the girls at my mother's place all summer, spent 3 or 4 evenings a week with me. They shopped, had dinner. I was glad for the attention they were giving Jody. No envy. I was sure they knew about us. Janet called the girls weekly. Short, tense conversations, Mom said. Twins rarely mentioned the calls to me. Billy's divorce from Sarah was final. My status was pending. He decided to start his own surveying business, asked me to join. I didn't have the capital until Mom stepped in. Medicare was covering Dad's expenses. Instead of watching her savings dwindle, she invested in my future and hers. 3 months later, Billy and I had Martin and Terrell surveying. My drafting skills translated well. New semester. The twins' mother visited them at school. Guidance office. They were disappointed to see Janet, not Jody. They were polite, respectful, but distant. Janet told them she loved them, sorry how things turned out. Going to Spain, see windmills, send postcards, promised birthday calls, Christmas gifts. Cried when she left, they said. Janet never called me. Next week, her parents showed up, apologized again for Janet, no defense. Brittany and Bethany were their only grandkids. They wanted to see them. Fine by me. Carla, they said, was too ashamed to come. Torn. 2 months later, my divorce was final. Jody and I went to Red Lobster to celebrate. Rare night without the girls. They didn't mind. Happy for us, I think. Spent the night at a local Holiday Inn. Twins were beaming when I got home at 10 a.m. Smiled all day. A year later, business boomed. Dad passed away. Mom considered Florida with her sister, but didn't want to leave the girls. The twins, ever practical, told her Jody could take her place, even if she couldn't cook as well. Insisted they were old enough for separate rooms. Obvious, good plan. Girls got birthday cards from their mother. No call. Postcards, all Spanish windmills. Fashionable embroidered dresses for Christmas, too small. Growth spurts. No disappointment. Gilbert Engineering became our biggest client. Calvin Bostic was teaching electronics at a vocational school, a big step down, no longer married. Sarah remarried, moved to California. Ken Sanders lasted 6 months in Spain. Working stateside now, nobody knew where. Billy was still trying to track him down through alumni associations. My best friend thought Ken got off too easy. Maybe he did. The girls still got windmill postcards, no info, just general sentiments. Cameron said Janet called them sometimes. Travel agency in Barcelona. Never mentioned Ken or what happened. Jody and I drove to Maryland, got married quietly. A year later, she was pregnant. Brittany and Bethany were thrilled. Looking forward to a little goth sister, they joked. Private joke between them and their new mother. They never let me in on it. I never did figure out the significance of those Spanish windmills. Didn't really care. I had what I wanted. My life, my rules, my family. Order restored.